Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to study the first and second weeks of development. In this lecture, we are going to cover the structures formed during the first two weeks after fertilization. Then we will get to know the formation of blastocyst. We will also get to know about the formation of trophoblast and how the blastocyst converts into an embryo. You know that after fertilization, a zygote is formed which undergoes series of mitotic divisions, and the smaller cells which are formed after mitosis are known as blastomeres. Until the 8th cell stage, these cells are loosely arranged in the form of a clump. But when they reach to 16 cell stage, they are known as morula, and now they are a compacted ball of cells. The outer cells of the morula form the outer cell mass, and the inner cells of the morula form the inner cell mass. Later on, with further development, the inner cell mass forms the embryo proper, and the outer cells form the trophoblast, and the trophoblast later develops into the placenta. Now here you can see that morula has converted into a blastocyst, and now we are going to know that how does this happen. With further development, fluid penetrates into the morula, into the inner cell mass of the morula, and what happens that a cavity develops which is known as blastocele. Blastocele or the blastocyst cavity. Now this whole structure after the formation of a cavity inside is known as blastocyst. As you know that cyst itself is a fluid filled structure. The outer cells of this cyst will form the trophoblast, and the inner cell mass form the embryoblast. Here you can see that morula is a compacted ball of cell, and with further development, when the fluid penetrates inside this structure, a cavity forms which is known as blastocele, and these cells are known as inner cell mass, and the outer cells are known as the trophoblast. Now what is implantation? Implantation is the process by which this structure, which is known as blastocyst, burrows and embeds into the endometrium. Endometrium is actually a part of the wall of the uterus of the mother. Endometrium is that layer of the uterus in which the blastocyst embeds itself. Now with further development, when the implantation is taking place and the blastocyst is embedding into the endometrial tissue, the trophoblast divides into two structures, syncytiotrophoblast and cytotrophoblast. You can follow the laser pointer to find out the structures. These cells, you can see they are syncytiotrophoblast. This syncytiotrophoblast is going to further embed into the endometrial tissue. Now the cells of the inner cell mass, which is now known as embryoblast, they differentiate into two layers. The layer which is shown here in blue color is the epiblast, and the layer shown in yellow color is the hypoblast. Now here you can see that we have seen that morula divides into inner cell mass and outer cell mass. The outer cell mass further forms the trophoblast. The trophoblast is further divided into syncytial trophoblast and cytotrophoblast. And the inner cell mass divides into epiblast and hypoblast. Here in this diagram you can see that these light green cells are the cytotrophoblast, these dark green cells are the syncytial trophoblast, and this whole structure, which is embryoblast, the inner cell mass is divided into epiblast and hypoblast. With further development, a cavity appears within the hypoblast, uh, within the epiblast, sorry, within the epiblast, and it is known as this white colored cavity is known as the amniotic cavity. Small cavity appears within the epiblast cells, which is known as the amniotic cavity. Epiblast cells, which are adjacent to the cytotrophoblast, are called amnioblasts, as shown here. Together with the rest of the epiblast, they line the amniotic cavity. This white colored cavity shown in the epiblast cells is the amniotic cavity. The endometrial stroma, you know that endometrium is the lining of the uterus. The endometrial stroma at this point in time is highly vascular, it is edematous, and there are many tortuous glands present which secrete glycogen and mucus. The blastocyst is more deeply embedded, and as I have told you that the defect in the endometrium is covered by the fibrin coagulum. The trophoblast, which is present here at the embryonic pole, has got many empty spaces which are known as vacuoles, as shown here in white color. These vacuoles then further fuse with each other to form lacunae. Now this phase of trophoblastic development is known as the lacunar stage. At the abembryonic pole, that is where the embryo is away from the endometrium, or you can see that this pole is the embryonic pole, the flattened cells from the hypoblast form a thin membrane which is known as exocoelomic membrane or Husser's membrane. This yellow colored structure is the Husser's membrane. It lines the inner surface of the cytotrophoblast. This light green structure is the cytotrophoblast, and it lines the inner surface of the cytotrophoblast. This whole yellow colored membrane is the Husser's membrane. Now there is a cavity here, and this is known as exocoelomic cavity or the primitive yolk sac. See, this is a primitive yolk sac. This is known as primitive yolk sac because later on with further development there will be the formation of secondary yolk sac. Now with hypoblast cells on the top and surrounding exocoelomic membrane, the cavity is developed which is known as exocoelomic cavity or the yolk sac. By 11th to the 12th day of development, this blastocyst is completely embedded in the endometrium, and the surface epithelium covers the original defect. This blastocyst produces a slight protrusion in. Here you can see this is the endometrial tissue, this is the blastocyst. Now here it is embedding. In this diagram it is completely embedded and the defect is closed. Later on there is a small bulge in the endometrium because of the embedding of the blast. Now the trophoblast is characterized by the lacunar spaces in its syncytium. These lacunar spaces form an intercommunicating network. Cells of the syncytiotrophoblasts. These dark green cells are syncytiotrophoblastic cells. They penetrate deep into the stroma of the endometrium and they erode the endothelial lining of the maternal capillaries. These capillaries are congested and are known as sinusoids. These are dilated capillaries, and dilated capillaries are known as sinusoids. Now these syncytial lacunae, which were previously empty, are now filled with blood from the maternal blood. As the trophoblast continues to erode, more and more sinusoids, maternal blood begins to flow through the trophoblastic system. And now here is the beginning of the establishment of uteroplacental circulation. On with further development of the embryo, this formation of placenta takes place and the embryo gets nutrients from the mother through this placenta. Here you can see that there are certain new population of cells which arise from the inner surface of the cytotrophoblastic cells. These light green cells are the cytotrophoblastic cells. On their inner surface, there is a new population of cells, and there are also certain new population of cells arising from the outer surface of the exocoelomic cavity. You can say this is exocoelomic cavity. On its outer surface, there are certain cells, and on the inner surface of the cytotrophoblastic cells. That is, in between the exocoelomic cavity and the cytotrophoblastic cells, there is a growth of connective tissue cells, and they form a loose network. Now this loose network of connective tissue cells is known as extraembryonic mesoderm. Extraembryonic mesoderm. This extraembryonic mesoderm fills all the space between the trophoblast externally and the amnion, this is the amnion, and the exocoelomic membrane internally. That is, in between these two structures, between cytotrophoblast and the exocoelomic cavity, as well as the amniotic cavity, there forms an extraembryonic mesoderm. Now here you can see that extraembryonic mesoderm has enlarged and it has formed a cavity which is extraembryonic cavity. Extraembryonic cavity is also known as chorionic cavity. This space, that is the chorionic cavity, surrounds the primitive yolk sac except where the germ disk, this is the germ disk. The epiblast and hypoblast together form the germ disk, connected to the trophoblast by the connecting stalk. That is, around all this there is extra embryonic cavity, except where this germ disk is connected to the trophoblastic cells with the help of a connecting stalk. This is the connecting stalk. The extraembryonic mesoderm, which lines the cytotrophoblast and the amnion here, is known as the extraembryonic somatic mesoderm. The mesoderm which covers the yolk sac is known as the extraembryonic splanchnic mesoderm. Now here you can see that all of this structure has grown rapidly, but this disc is not that well formed. This disc remains smaller as compared to the rest of the trophoblast, and it is only 0.1 to 0.2 millimeters. In this diagram, you can see two cavities, amniotic cavity and the yolk sac here. And in between the two, there is a germ disc. Now the trophoblast is characterized by villous structures. Villi are the projections, finger-like projections, as you can see here. The cells of the cytotrophoblast, these light green colored cells, proliferate locally and penetrate into the syncytiotrophoblast. They form cellular columns surrounded by syncytium. These cellular columns are known as primary villi. Later on, these hypoblastic cells produce another number of cells and they form exocoelomic membrane. With the formation of exocoelomic membrane, the primitive yolk sac is converted into secondary yolk sac or the definitive. Now we have learned that in the second week of development, two structures are formed. Therefore, this week of development is called week of twos. The trophoblast differentiates into cytotrophoblast and syncytiotrophoblast. Embryoblast has got two layers, the epiblast and hypoblast. The extra embryonic mesoderm splits into somatic and splanchnic mesoderm, and there are two cavities, amniotic and yolk sac cavities. So the second week of development is known as week of twos. Now the implantation of blastocyst usually occurs, that is the most common site of implantation, and the normal site of implantation is the endometrium of the uterus, and the most common site is the posterior wall and anterior wall of the uterus. But the blastocyst may implant outside the uterus. If the blastocyst implants outside the uterus, this type of pregnancy is known as ectopic pregnancy. In 98% of cases, that is most of the cases, ectopic pregnancy occurs in the uterine tubes and often in the ampulla and isthmus. Rest of the sites can be ovary and the abdominal cavity as well. This is a dangerous and a life-threatening phenomena. So here we end the lecture. If you learned from the lecture, do like and share it with your friends. Thank you.